Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 266, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. I am Zachy Hassan, and I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
It is going. What have you been up to in the post-Oscar days? Last time we recorded, it was the day before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
it's a few weeks after.
Yeah, we had some people over, and had some food and pizzas and desserts, and it was fun. The Oscars were fun again. Is that safe to say? Like I feel like I was seeing people the next day, articles on Vulture and podcasts and whatnot, and people saying, I think the Oscars were kind of good again.
So what made them fun for you? And again, after how long of a spell?
As we said last time, the Oscars have been weird just because of pandemic stuff for a while. But I think the difference this year was with the group of people we had over combined, we had seen most of the films.
Okay.
And I know that's a common complaint. People will say, well, all the things nominated, most people haven't seen them. And so therefore this is bad. And I don't know that I agree with that because, sometimes the best movie, maybe not a lot of people have seen it, and this can shine a light on it. Right. So I don't feel like they should just nominate stuff that's popular, but I do like that this year was a combination of, Avatar, Top Gun, popular stuff alongside All Quiet on the Western Front and, Everything Everywhere, which was sort of that middle ground thing, I think, where, it made over $100 million, but it's still kind of artsy, if you want to call it that. It's wacky. And it's funny because even the people we had over, there was sort of mixed reactions to it, so, amongst people who had seen it. But I think that just alchemy this year with those nominations and just the ceremony seemed, just chill. Like it wasn't like a ton. They have all the musical or, best song performances, but it's not like they had these dance numbers or anything that just feels like, why are we doing this? And Jimmy Kimmel just did what he had to do. He came out, said a couple of funny things and moved on, I think if you're at least interested in the Oscars at all, I feel like it wasn't that bad of a year to tune in. I don't know. What were your feelings?
Well, I kind of dipped in and out. I was actually watching a movie at the time that the Oscars were going on. I was at the movie theater, and when I left the theater, I had all the push notifications like Ke Huy Quan wins.
Yeah,
I was like, well, good. That was my
Yep.
So I was kind of watching the clips on YouTube, and then at some point, I think Amina was like, "Why don't you just watch it live?" At that point, I was like, "Fine." So probably the last 40 minutes or so I watched.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, all the big ones, right?
I was actually disappointed there wasn't like a production number before Jimmy Kimmel came out and did his monologue.
I have to say, from when I was a kid, my favorite thing was when Billy Crystal would go through all the films. Like he would sort of like appear in all the different movies and kind of riff on them a little bit. I definitely missed that. I had read an interview with, I think, Kimmel's producer or someone, and they were saying that they didn't do a lot of those taped segments or they kind of did stunts before. Remember, they took like a Hollywood tour bus and had them come in and like, hey, take a picture with Brad Pitt, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And they said that those just don't get the responses, equal to the work that they take.
Interesting.
Which is funny because for me, I'm like, well, I don't know. I enjoy them, but here I am just sitting on my butt on my couch. You know what I mean? It's like a whole other thing. If it's, weeks of coordination and trying to get a bus and security and I guess I can kind of understand that, but
yeah,
and I was happy with Everything Everywhere. I've it's been a year now it came out. I loved it since a year ago, and so to see it have that stamina and go the distance and win all the awards, and as wacky as it is, but as sweet and lovely as it is, I think that was very satisfying for me.
And Brian, as is the nature of these things, we now enter the everything everywhere all at once is overrated cycle.
I mean, yeah, check your watches right on time. Which, by the way, if people don't like it, that's a whole other thing. I talked to people even before all the awards stuff, and I think, yeah, when people just get really excited about something, it can become almost hyperbolic, like, oh, best movie of the year, best movie of the decade. And so then people go in and go, okay, like, yeah, it was okay. Or they're like, I didn't connect with that at all. And I think that's totally valid. But yes, I think the stuff that happens after all the awards and everyone just going, meh, like that's the stuff that gets kind of obnoxious.
Although it is, I mean, the prize for Best Picture is ultimately meaningless as it pertains to whether a movie will be remembered or not.
That's true. That's right. True. I mean, class. Oh yeah, go ahead. You're probably gonna say the same thing.
Just sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no?
But there are certain films that are well regarded decades later, even though they either were not nominated or they were nominated and didn't win. And then conversely, you have Best Picture winners that you look back on and you're like, what in the world,
Yeah, I was gonna say the classic examples I think are Driving Miss Daisy versus Do the Right Thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't even see Driving Miss Daisy like on television, I mean, not that that's any barometer of quality. I've never seen it, to be honest, but it's just funny. Do the Right Thing is the one that has lived on from 19. That's right.
And Do the Right Thing wasn't even nominated.
It wasn't nominated.
No, it wasn't. And Driving Miss Daisy is totally fine. Like I always like, unfortunately, it gets judged against Do the Right Thing. But same thing with Green Book.
Yeah.
Which is another racism for white people movie. Which that won Best Picture, and again, it's totally fine. Like,
yeah.
I don't think you'll regret having watched it, but it's certainly not a movie I've thought about and been like, I want to watch that again. I think that year you had Black Klansman, you had other movies that were more summative in terms of the zeitgeist. But that's the thing. Like Crash is like, I think the
sure.
most often cited example.
Mm-hmm.
And Crash, in my opinion, is a bad movie. I do not understand how that movie won Best Picture.
I haven't seen it since it came out, but I was listening to a podcast recently where they were discussing it and just hearing them sort of repeat the things that happened and just their voices getting more and more incredulous as they were describing them. I was sort of like, wow, yeah, it is kind of amazing, this movie.
I remember when that movie came out and somebody, a mutual acquaintance of ours, was like, I just saw the best movie of the year.
Yeah.
And then when I got around to watching it, I was like, huh?
You know what's funny? I remember getting to see it very early. I don't remember why, but I do remember thinking this is gonna like be up for Best Picture. Like it just had that sort of what people sort of like make fun of Hollywood for, like important film trademark, registered trademark, like it just had that importance feeling to it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be like a thing, I feel. And I wish I could remember my feelings on it more than I do. Because I remember like some of it being like, oh yeah, wow. And then some of it being like, ugh, like cringing, it's just kind of all over the place. I think especially now, with like, as we've sort of progressed as a society and I've progressed as a human, I'd probably look at things and go, oh, wow, that's way worse than I remember. That's my feeling if I were to rewatch it, which I probably won't.
My recollection is that was the year that Brokeback Mountain was nominated.
Yeah, right.
And I think there was the general sense that like probably a lot of people in the Academy were like, well, I don't want to watch that one. So like, what else can I select that you can't accuse me of being an anti, like Crash,
Right.
Right. And the thing is, based on what we know about Academy voters, you tell me, does that not sound like an entirely plausible scenario?
Well, yeah. And I think we talked about when we read those articles where an anonymous Academy member is like brutally honest about how they're choosing to vote. And you're like, wow,
Yeah.
they're like, I didn't watch this, but this guy's my neighbor. So, and you're like, what?
And of course, in the history of Academy Awards, one of the most conspiracy theory inducing was when Marissa Tomei won Best Supporting Actress.
Absolutely. And funny you bring that up, Zachy, because just this past week, Federica and I revisited My Cousin Vinny.
What?
I know. Okay, my hat or my bow tie's spinning. How amazing that coincidence. So I actually feel like I watched this not too long ago and talked about it on here, but I just wanted to bring it up because Federica hadn't seen it, and I was like, you know what?
Had never seen it.
Had never seen it, and I was like, I get the feeling you're gonna like this. Like this is just kind of a solid flick. And
she hated it, right?
No, sure enough, she loved it. And I think even starting it, we were picking between three things, and she was like, "Okay, no, I believe you," but I think she was sort of like, "Well, what about this?" And then by the end, she absolutely loved it. And we were talking about the Marissa Tomei thing, and I think she went in knowing that fact, and was sort of like watching her, like, okay, well, she's good, she's and then by the end, when she's giving her, expert opinion on the automotive stuff, and she's just blowing the roof off the courthouse. It's just like, oh yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. She's great. So I just wanted to mention it again because for people who haven't seen it, like, what a great fun little flick. That's a good flick.
And I think I said this on the show before, but that movie has a special distinction for me in my personal history because that was the last new release that I watched on tape in Saudi Arabia before my family moved back to the States.
Oh, wow.
So it was and it was a bootleg, obviously, but I believe it came out early 92.
Okay.
So we saw it very shortly thereafter. And then, like a month or so later, we moved back. So little piece of Hassan history right there.
I love that. And I actually remember, I'll just say it for the point I'm about to make, but I remember watching it on VHS at my friend's house because it's rated R, and I think I was like 11 or 12 or something. My parents probably wouldn't have let me watch it at that age. Mm-hmm. And so I remember watching it at my friend's house, like, I can't believe his parents are letting us watch this. And so I just have this kind of memory of like being like, hey, that was really fun, and kind of liking it. And I say that going back to a conversation we've had many, many times where, isn't that kind of fun when we can have these little memories attached to a film, like where you remember where you watched it, your age, what you were feeling, those sorts of things. It's kind of magical.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, I'll just
by the way, Joe Pesci was in his 40s when he made that movie.
We looked it up. We were very curious about the age difference, how old they both were. I have this thing where I like guessing. Well, we already know I'm obsessed with looking up people's ages and seeing how far away they are from me. Like
and
planes,
not just
trains,
celebrities, random people on the street.
Yeah. No, if I overhear their full name, I'll go on Instagram and
send a follow request, the whole thing.
Yeah. See how many candles are on their birthday cake. But no, with Planes, Trains, I realized I am now the same age as Steve Martin in that film, and I just sit and think about that for a while. But just two others I'm just going to throw out super quick. But we were just sort of doing like comfort food movies this week, and we watched also Legally Blonde, which I had not seen in years, and I remembered liking, and it totally holds up. Just a super, super fun movie. Then I watched Legally Blonde 2 for the first time.
Okay.
Anyway, after that we watched no. I don't know. The magic was gone. You know what it really felt like? It felt like Reese Witherspoon was busy, Luke Wilson was busy, the other people making the movie were busy, and they had like 3 satellite units or companies shooting and tried to splice it together to make it look like they were all together. Like clearly her, except for like the ending, clearly her and Luke Wilson could not make their schedules work because they're always on a phone call with a split screen or, like,
so funny.
Yeah, you get this weird feeling that like they were doing it out of obligation, You know,
Sure.
like well, the first one was a hit. We got to do this, and this is all we can pull off in this amount of time. And it was kind of fascinating, actually.
That's really funny.
And then also just Tropic Thunder. Hadn't seen that since I don't even know when, like at least 10 years ago or something. And the reason I wanted to bring it up was because, well, actually, I watched it on your Vudu, and it was the director's cut. And so I was just going to bring this up because wasn't that an interesting time when the DVD boom was happening? It was a huge selling point, I think, to be like, you know, this isn't just the movie you saw in theaters. This is the director's cut. This is the unrated version.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. And this was that. And it's funny how much more the movie dragged. Like,
I agree. Yeah, I think the theatrical cut is better.
Yeah, because that movie just snaps, crackles, and pops. And this one, wow, I could be on the poster. This movie snaps, crackles, and pops, said Brian Hall of the Movie Film Podcast. But but this had this whole sort of like Apocalypse Now party scene where I was like, I don't remember this at all. And it accomplished nothing. And then we move on, and I was like, oh, wow. It was kind of a fascinating study in, wow, something can be 2 hours. But if you make it like 1 hour and 50 minutes, it can be just that much better, you know?
Right.
So that was kind of interesting. But new stuff, we actually dragged ourselves out to the theater to go catch the latest Guy Ritchie movie. Ika's in this like Guy Ritchie kick right now. And so there's this, have you heard of this, by the way? Did you know there was a Guy Ritchie movie in theaters right now called Operation Fortune?
I did, only in the sense of the headlines being like, yeah, so they're dropping this thing in theaters for a week so that they can make a little money before it goes to streaming. Like that was the...
Yeah, it's been delayed. It's one of the issues I heard was that the villains were Ukrainian. And so they're like, well, that's not great timing. You know, obviously because of the war.
So now is it just like any mention of Ukraine is just badly dubbed over?
I did not notice. I don't remember the word Ukraine even coming up. And I'm sure it was probably, something like that. It was probably spliced out or whatever. But it just happens to be a detail. It's not really about, you know, those politics.
So this is Jason Statham, who is a longtime partner of Guy Ritchie. Not partner,
collaborator.
Collaborator. That's the...
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it's an interesting cast. It's Statham, Aubrey Plaza, which was kind of interesting, playing like the quirky, you know, person in the chair kind of role. I mean, although she gets to go and infiltrate and do things too. Carrie Elways is sort of their leader. You know, Hugh Grant is one of the villains. Josh Hartnett's in it. Bugsy Malone.
In order to defeat Hugh Grant, does Jason Statham ask him awkward red carpet questions?
That would probably disable him. Yes,
Did you see that, by the way?
I did. Yes.
This, for those of you who are listening, what are we talking about? Ashley Graham, I think is her name.
Yes. Yeah.
She's one of these red carpet reporters. So she's asking a clearly not having it Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
About like, what are you wearing? And are you happy to be here? And it is, if the word cringe could be summed up in a video clip, I think this is that.
Yeah.
And sort of the discourse, because everything has to have discourse, has been sort of fascinating. But I want to say I am 100% Team Grant.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it very closely. I'm just kind of familiar with what happened. And I don't know, it's one of those things, you know, like some people are good at that and some people don't want to do it, you know? And so, you know, I don't know what you do. I feel sort of, sympathy is a very strong word, but just sort of like, well, I understand for both parties. You know, she's just doing her job and he in a way is just doing his job, and they have different temperaments for it. And there you go. Right.
And this has been Brian Solves the World's Problem. Come on, guys, let's just work it out.
Right.
Anyway, Operation Fortune, tell me about it.
You know, it's a weird movie. Like we have the Regal pass, right? Like, I don't know that this is something we would have rushed out for and paid $18, you know, like, but we pay $23 a month, and so you can go as many times as we want. And we're like, well, we can watch something on TV tonight, or we can head down the block and go see something big and loud and, you know, exciting. And so yeah, we're like, let's give it a shot. And it is totally enjoyable, immediately forgettable. Honestly, and this isn't like a slam, but we were both like, that felt like a really good TV show. Okay. You know, like it almost in a way felt like a bigger budgeted CBS Magnum PI episode or something, you know, like just sort of like this gang of people who are very different have to go and, you know, collect the clues and figure this thing out and infiltrate, and there's car chases. And then by the end, you know, they were a little disparate at the beginning, but now they're sort of bonded and they'll probably go do another adventure. And it's, you know, it's pretty disposable, but it's also kind of perfectly suited for, oh, that thing, you know, on HBO on Friday night. Like, you know, you're not going to hate it, but you're probably not going to remember it either. Like that was, we both had that exact same reaction to it. So yeah. I mean, I saw that it's already available at home in that sort of premium format where it's you know, like $20.
You know, in that vein is the movie that I watched last week during the Oscars, which is 65.
Okay, I cannot wait to hear about this because I'm aware of it. I've seen the poster. I knew the concept. I was like, what is this? And why don't I know more about this? Like Adam Driver versus dinosaurs with laser guns. And even, you know, I mention it often, but our buddy Chad, he emailed me and said, like, did you know this existed? And sent me like a link to it. And so as someone who has seen it, I'm dying to know. What you thought.
Yeah. So kind of what you said, right? Like the pitch is an intriguing one, and it's like something out of the cover of like Amazing Science Stories or something, you know, like
yes,
right, and yeah, it's Adam Driver as he's a pilot from another planet who is carrying cargo and crash lands on Earth during the waning days of the dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. And so his ship is wrecked. The people he was carrying are all dead except for one person. And he has to find his way to his escape craft and get off the planet. Why? Because there's a meteor headed towards Earth, which has some historical significance, this meteor.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, that's great. You know, like
that's super fun. Yeah.
Right. So there was not a lot of publicity. It wasn't screened for critics that I saw, and it did kind of get clobbered by critics. And I don't like, it's not a movie like I saw it 2 weeks ago. I've already basically forgotten about the experience, but I remember having enjoyed the experience. So it's like that, you know?
Right.
It's 90 minutes ish, which is about as long as it needs to be. It gives you what's on the tin. So it's hard to be too upset about it. It's Adam Driver. I mean, it's almost like a one person show. It's Adam Driver and this little girl, but I mean, he's just great, you know? Mm-hmm. And again, it's point A to point B. And one of the critiques I saw is like, you know, it doesn't do enough world building and all this type of stuff. And I was like, that's what I loved about it.
Yeah.
Like I was like, it gives you just what you need to know to get from minute 1 to minute 100. And I'm like, you know, it's not setting up 2 more movies.
Yep.
No, it's just this. We dipped into this story and then we're done with it forever. And I'll tell you, sometimes that is exactly what you need.
Everything. I just felt a wash of warm pass over me, as you said, all those things. 90 minutes, not setting up a franchise. Like,
you know,
I want to watch that. I want to watch like just a yarn. I want to watch like an original thing that just gets in and gets out, like you said, and is entertaining. And, you know, wait, I wanted to ask, is it like Roland Emmerich-esque, or is it like?
It's smaller in scale, so no.
Okay.
I think this is a movie. You know what I would liken it to is something like No Escape, that movie that I told you about earlier this year.
Yeah, which I haven't seen. Yeah.
Right. And not because they're telling the same story, but in that it feels smaller scale and it's like something you would watch on WPWR Saturday afternoon, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And I think that's what worked for me. I took my 9-year-old and he enjoyed it. He liked it. He's like, he comes home, he's telling his brothers, he's like, you know what 65 means? You know,
oh, that's fun. See, that's perfect. There needs to be stuff like that.
He was like the exact age. I'm like, if I'm 9 years old, I want to watch this movie, you know?
You know, I mean, we'll get to it, but I think with Shazam, you know, especially with the first one, I think also with this one, I mean, it's aiming kind of younger, I think.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting seeing people talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, but can't there be stuff for 10-year-olds? You know, like there was stuff when I was 10 for me, and I carry it with me to this day. So I love that. I love that he was so taken with it. Yeah.
And you know, I leaned over to, when Adam Driver shows up, I was like, you know who that is? And he goes, Kylo Ren, you know? And I was like, I was thinking about that too. I was like, you know, Adam Driver for the rest of his life gets to be somebody, like kids will know him as Kylo Ren.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's like, I hope that that's something he's charmed by, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I hope he knows that, you know, like.
That's what I kind of like about him from the little, I haven't seen a ton of interviews with him, but he does seem not like, okay, yeah, I did that Star Wars thing, moving on. Like he seems to be like, yeah, that was cool. I was in Star Wars, you know?
Yeah.
You like to see that.
Exactly. So yeah, it's not, it's like, yeah, it was fun, you know, it's like that. I think if you've got one of those, you know, like you have the Regal Pass and I've got my AMC A-List, like it's like a perfect way to use that.
Totally.
But you know, it feels like this will be one that people eventually discover and enjoy on streaming.
Yeah, and especially with 90 minutes. I saw that Moonfall. Yeah. Well, not saw that. It was starting on HBO while I was, you know, sitting around. And I was like, yeah, we're doing this. Let's do this. And then I checked to see how long it was, and it was over 2 hours. And I was like, no. Like, no. Like, if that had been under 2 hours, I might have done it. Yeah. But honestly, the time put me off. So, I don't know.
Funny, 'cause, yeah, that one too, like, that's a weird one because they made that during pandemic conditions, which I guess is like kind of impressive that Roland Emmerich did that. But yeah, I mean, that one, a reasonably interesting premise that stretched over too thin of a frame, you know?
Right.
But what else, Brian?
Well, I will just mention. Actually, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm put myself out there for all the people who might relate to this. But I'm my comfort TV. My what do you call it? Guilty pleasure is Below Deck. Love Below Deck.
Okay.
It just wrapped up season. I thought it was a good season. So for anyone out there, the one person who relates to this right now and is going, yeah, it was. I see you. But going back to Yellowstone, I figure maybe I'll check in. Maybe we can do this. Check in at the end of each season that I finish because I just finished season 1. I have one left to go in season 2, but since we're recording today, I'll mention it. Zachy, this show's got me. Dude, I watched 4 episodes last night, and I didn't start them early. Last night we saw Shazam. That's what it was. And so we came back and I was like, all right, let's start this. And then, dude, next thing I know, 4 have gone by. It's really late. And that's the only reason I didn't watch the last one. So it's got me, man. I don't know. It's just got that thing. Like the characters, each character, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm invested in this person. I'm invested in this person.
So the last one you watched is where Tate gets kidnapped?
Yes. I mean, I won't get too into it for people who haven't started it, but yes. Yeah. And what's that guy's name? He's in Minority Report, character actor.
Oh, Neil McDonough.
Neil McDonough and the other person who plays the brother.
Yeah, I don't know.
Man, I hate those guys. Yeah. So I was really, really into it. And they go there this season. It gets pretty rough. And then you're just like, balling your hands into fists and you're like, go get them, kind of a thing.
It's so funny because I think what Taylor Sheridan does very well is construct really vivid, interesting characters. And so you've got obviously John Dutton, who's a growly Kevin Costner, and then you've got Charlie Houston as Dan Houston. He was in Wolverine. He was in the X-Men Origins movie. I remember he was Stryker in that. And then you have Rainwater.
Yeah, he's great.
Who he's actually a great presence. I think him and Costner play off each other really well.
Yep. But there's like some line where he's like, "Oh, we'll be enemies again by Monday," and Costner's like, "We're enemies now."
And Costner's like, "Here's what we're gonna do," and Rainwater's like, "Well, we're gonna be teaming up, I guess, or whatever."
He's like, "The devil, just like real."
And it's so great because it's. Again, I said this to you last time. I'm like, I'm sitting here watching this. I'm like, man, these white people.
I know.
That's what I call the show, man, these white people.
It is really funny because it is sort of like Sopranos-esque, in its ssort of mob, like, I don't know, the way that they think and operate. But you're also like, damn, dude, just like raise the cattle. Like, why do you guys gotta be so like, you don't have to create all these problems for yourself. If someone wants to leave, let them go.
Don't shove them off a cliff. I'm just going to throw that out there as a freebie.
Right.
No, but I really, the relationships between the kids are really interesting. I think Luke Grimes as Casey, I think he's really interesting. Just an interesting character. Yeah, right.
I like him.
And I think John Dutton, the Kevin Costner character, is himself very interesting because even now, I mean, I'm about half a season past you, and I still don't know what I think of him.
Agreed. Yeah. There's a character who's like calling out, the family to one of the sons, and she's like, your ranch isn't a kingdom. Like your dad isn't a king. And I was like, like, seriously, guys, like you guys are crazy. But now you live in that universe and with those people, and you can get swept up in that. Yeah,
you're like, get them.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's so funny because I'll always be making these comments when I'm watching Phenomena. Because like in the first season when Beth is out with Danny Houston, and she's just like humiliating him. And I'm like, why are you taking this?
Right. Actually, I feel that way about Jamie sometimes. I'm like, he's like George McFly. I'm like, come on, dude, just leave. Like, F these people.
Here's what I'm going to say. You find out in the third season why Beth dislikes him.
Okay. Yeah, she is so mean to him. It's like, it's got to be a difficult thing for him to play, taking that. And not being like, what? Why? Just leave, But yeah.
It definitely, you can feel them writing on the fly oftentimes.
Sure.
Because again, there's the revelation about the Jamie Beth thing. I'm curious about what you'll think, because to me, I was like, well, wow, that's like a hell of a thing to just drop. Like, I wonder if they knew that going into the series.
Sure. Right.
So I'm curious. I'm not saying anymore. But like another example, I think it's the beginning of the second season where Costner gets rushed to the hospital. Is that the beginning of the second season?
Yeah.
Right. Now,
or I think it's all kind of run together. But yes, I remember that.
But you've seen it already, though.
Yeah.
Right? So didn't that seem like, okay, we need to like get rid of this plot line very quickly?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
Because the whole first season, he's like, I'm done, and then they're like, oh wait, this show is a hit.
Yeah, you got to keep him around for a few more years. Yeah, but I'm digging it. I can't wait to finish the season tonight. So
it just when Beth is in that cowboy bar with Dan, and she's just like, if some guy walks by, she's like, hey, he said you got a small penis. Hey, he said you throw like a girl. And by the end, he's got like bandages wrapped around his head and like,
yeah. Beth, you're incorrigible. Getting it again, like.
It's so funny because Kelly Riley, first time I saw her was in the Sherlock Holmes Robert Downey movies.
Right, right.
And speaking of Guy Ritchie, and
Yeah.
she's so like prim and proper in those, you know.
I gotta see that again. I haven't seen it since the theater, but I am very curious to see her. I'm so used to her this way now, but she's so good at it.
Yeah, it's a compelling character, and you and I, we've talked before about Rip.
Rip. Yeah, good old Rip.
It was so funny.
But that's kind of it for me. Anything else for you?
Well, you know, I've been continuing my journey through the Roger Moore James Bond films with my second kid.
Yeah.
So I think where we left off was Moonraker, as I recall last time. We talked,
right.
I think. So we've done now For Your Eyes Only and Octopussy. And we just watched The Man with the Golden Gun.
It's so funny. I'm mostly familiar with these titles and phrases through the game GoldenEye. Like, oh, the Golden Gun.
That's hilarious. So you stopped, I think, at Live and Let Die or something, right? Like,
yes. And just not because I don't want to keep going, but it's one of those things now because there's other things, you know, like I want to see Shazam for this and kind of got into Yellowstone. It's like, it's just there like, oh, tonight could be a good night for that, you know? So that's how it's going slowly.
Yeah. Initially I was just like, hey, you should watch some of the Roger Moore ones. And I picked out the two that I think, you know, that I have a fondness for. And then at this point, I think we're just like, well, we've come this far. We might as well watch A View to a Kill. So I think that's the next one, that's one of my least favorites out of all of them. But it has objectively one of the best songs out of all of them. So you see my dilemma.
You see my dilemma.
we did not watch Live and Let Die because that's like too racist for me.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know.
Yeah. I was like, I want him to watch and I think I said this last time, but I'm like, man, Roger Moore, what a good James Bond he was. Like I'm having this not reappraisal because I never disliked him, but I'm like, man, you know, he knew how to do it. He knew exactly what was expected of him, and he did it so effortlessly, and you got to respect that.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing more of him.
Well, I'm curious what happens when you work your way through. But why don't we take a short break? We got some trailers to discuss. Well, we're back, and hey, Brian, looks like the Ninja Turtles are coming back again.
Yeah.
When was the last movie? Do you remember?
Ooh. Off the top of my head, I'm going to guess. Like 17?
16. So you're close.
16. Okay.
Yeah. So 7 years, which is,
and those were the Michael Bay ones.
The two Michael Bay produced movies.
Yeah.
Which I've said all along, I thought the first one was not very good. The second one was much better, but enough people were burned by the first one, even though it was a hit, that they didn't turn out for the second one.
Right.
Even though it was better.
And it just, I mean, if we're really going to sort of think about it and be honest, like they just weren't pleasant to look at.
I think that's what it comes down to.
Honestly. I mean, I kind of understand, well, they're mutant turtles. Let's make them look like mutant turtles. But there's something about the suspension of disbelief, you know, that I think people are willing to go with because of loving the characters that I don't know. I just, when I think of those movies, I have this really vague green, orange, gray color in my mind. And, you know, just kind of like, just not very pleasant to look at, kind of a memory of it.
Well, and I think when you make the turtles sort of muscle bound giants,
right,
you lose, like, to me, and maybe this is just my biases because you and I, we grew up with the 1990 movie.
Yeah.
But like them being shorter than people is part of the appeal because kids can relate to them. Yep. You know? Yep. Well, so that one didn't perform, but this is a Nickelodeon / Paramount owned franchise. So they needed to get it out there again before too long. So now we have a new movie. It's animated. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And this one is produced by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg.
Yep.
They of The Interview fame.
Yeah. Superbad. And Yeah.
This is the end, which I interviewed them for.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
So look at the voice cast here. We got Seth Rogen is Bebop, Jackie Chan is Splinter, Paul Rudd is Mondo Gecko, Rose Byrne is Leatherhead, Giancarlo Esposito is Baxter Stockman. It's a pretty nice cast. John Cena is Rocksteady.
Wow. I love that it has Bebop and Rocksteady, by the way.
We had Bebop and Rocksteady in the last one.
Yeah, but I just mean... yeah, I guess it's funny. That movie is just so not in my mind. But I think of the Secret of the Ooze, right, where they went with these other mutants instead of Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, like was that because they didn't have the rights to them or something ridiculous like that?
That's what it feels like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, these are the version I know. These are the characters I know. So
let's play some of the audio, and then I want to talk about it with you.
Lob it up. Stay still. Stay still. Now. Oh! Let's try that again, but with ninja stars.
Hey, why did we pick a fruit shaped exactly like my head?
Just stop talking. You're ruining my concentration.
You're fine. Chill. He's gonna die.
Wait, did you hear that? What was that?
Well, nothing we can do. You guys want to grab pizza?
Okay, so here's my question for you.
Yes.
You're a big Ninja Turtles. You're a big Ninja Turtles fan, right?
Yeah.
Last I checked.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't kept up with it over the years. I know there was a series like 2010s ish on Nickelodeon that our friend Sean, well, maybe you too, and my brother loved. My brother's like, dude, you'd love this, and I never got around to it, but I've always they're a huge when I was a kid, and I'm still endeared to them.
So is this movie something that speaks to you based on the trailer?
100%. Yep.
Okay. That was my question.
Yep. I think this looks so fun. And this is honestly a take of the Turtles that feels so obvious that I can't believe we kind of haven't seen yet, which is like
that they're actually kids?
Yeah, that they're actually kids. Like there's a scene, where I think it's Donatello gets kind of stabbed in the leg and his shriek sounds like a kid shrieking. And so it's already kind of funny, but it's funnier hearing a kid, being dumb and hurting themselves and yelling like a kid. I was like, yeah. Like I want to see a bunch of goofy kids like going out and trying to do the Ninja Turtle thing. So I love this take. I'm very curious. You?
Yeah, it's interesting to me because at this point through my kids, I've experienced so many variations.
Yeah.
That each one sort of gets further away from like the ones that I know, Sure. And it's not even me being like, oh, all of none of these versions get it or whatever. I'm not saying that. But it's definitely that sense of like, oh, it keeps getting reinvented for new generations. Like there was a series a couple of years ago I think it was called Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think. And, it was like, they look kind of like the Michael Bay versions and they made Raphael the leader, which is my biggest pet peeve.
Why?
Yeah, I'm like, no, Leonardo leads. I don't care about any of this other stuff. That's how it is. And you know what I blame, Brian? I blame the rap song at the end of the 1990 movie.
Wait, why? I don't remember.
Because that says Raphael, he's the leader of the group, transformed from the norm by the nuclear goop.
Wow,
that is wrong.
That's so funny. I can hear that song in my head. TURTLE power.
Yeah, that's right. I remember being a little kid being like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's not right. He's not. I mean, Raph isn't even the leader in that movie.
Right. They didn't even show him a rough cut to write the song.
Yeah. So I feel like that song has spun people off in different directions. But that, to your point, like I was sort of tickled by how familiar this felt.
Mm-hmm.
So then my thought is, but is it going to speak to kids who this isn't really the version of Ninja Turtles that they know?
I don't know. It's bursting with youthful energy. And I really love that. I love the voices.
It's also bursting with Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse energy.
That's just where I was going with this. The first time I watched it, I wasn't sure how I felt. It almost felt like, not a choice, but like well, that worked. Let's try this, kind of a feeling. And I'm not saying that's what they did, but that's just what I felt watching it, but that very staccato,
right.
almost painterly looking sort of thing versus,
right.
yeah. And Puss in Boots did that recently too, right?
That's right. Which, have you seen that yet?
No, but that's high on the list.
You
It's on Peacock now, I think. So
it's on Peacock.
Probably.
So check it out.
But the second time I watched the trailer, I was like, okay. Like, I don't know. I kind of got used to it, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of take it really.
That does feel like the new thing now that everybody's doing.
Yeah.
It is nice, I have to say, to when I wander down the toy aisle at Target or whatever, and you see Ninja Turtles toys, and you're like, this is still a thing this many years later. Something reassuring about that. Yeah,
well, and it hit me at the perfect time. I mean, when I was finding my shows and my action figures and that sort of thing, I still have my Raphael, my first turtle action figure.
Was Raph your first? Was he?
Raph was my first, yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I had not seen the cartoon.
Oh, interesting.
I had not seen the cartoon yet. I saw the toys, and I had a friend. This is how peer pressure works. I had a friend who was like, "Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is awesome," and I was like, "Well, I guess Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is awesome." Like, it was like,
I mean, I had those things too. I remember I had a friend who was obsessed with Notre Dame football, and I was like, "I love Notre Dame," and I was like, "What am I talking about?
Who have I become?" But I remember from Venture. That's where I got my very first
Venture. Yeah.
And it was a turtle with the forked tongue. That's how they describe Raphael.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was like,
did it have the rubber head?
He had the rubber head, and it popped off like a champagne cork.
Yep. So that's the one I had too.
So I had the other turtles I got later. So they had the plastic heads, and poor Raph, his head would just keep popping off.
Yeah. That was one of the few action figure sets where I had kind of everybody. Star Wars, I didn't know this at the time because I just loved it and I was young, but it was a little bit on the wane, right? It was past 83. Right. And so I had to take what I could get at the discount aisle. Again, didn't understand that concept. So I was like, well, I got, like a Emperor Guard and, like just these random.
I've told this story before, but in 1987, we were visiting Edmonton. My mom comes home from shopping. She's like, "Hey, I got Star Wars figures for you." Now, this is 87. So How far after Return of the Jedi? So I got Rancor Keeper, Reese, Prune Face, and 8D8.
Wow.
So, boy, it was like the Avengers of Star Wars.
Yeah. But anyway, all that to say, I like Ninja Turtles. I've always been charmed by Ninja Turtles. If a Ninja Turtle movie comes out, I'm gonna go see it. That's just, And I'm happy to see. Like I say, I love the energy of this. I think it looks quippy. Quippy's a bad word. I don't like quippy all the time, but like it just looks jokey and fun. And I'm excited.
August of this year, it comes out.
Wait, what were your kids' reactions?
I haven't had a chance to really gauge them because these kids are just all over the place now. So we're lacking communal TV time.
Oh, interesting. Like so with school I should be,
activity? And they're, Hamza's on the golf team and my other middle two, they're on the track team. And so they're doing stuff, right? So I'm really proud of them.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, want to watch TV.
Yeah. That like gather around the couch kind of thing. Just sort of.
We have yet to watch a single episode of The Mandalorian this season.
Yeah.
For example, I don't know, where are you at with The Mandalorian right now?
No, same. I think I mentioned last time that I kind of missed that it was premiering.
Yeah.
And I've just been kind of busy between work and other things and trying to keep up with this, one to see Shazam and whatnot. And so now I'm sort of like, well, actually, this is kind of a cool opportunity because then I'll have like a chunk that I can watch like 2 or 3 in a night. And I kind of looking forward to that.
It's weird how and maybe this is just my sense, but there hasn't been a lot of buzz or oh, did you see The Mandalorian? Like it feels like that conversation isn't really happening. Maybe that's just me.
No, I had read about that actually, with like the actual percentages that engagement and whatnot were down. And I think that, could be like a long conversation, but I think it sort of ties into what Iger was saying, right? Where he was like, we're putting out a lot of stuff. And I think then you start to feel like I was feeling that with Marvel, right? Where I was like, one thing ended and another thing started, and then I would kind of miss it. And then I was like, oh, well, whatever. And then I would never get back to it, And so I think there's something I love. We've said this with the Marvel thing. It's cool. Like, it's cool if you don't connect with all of it. That's fine. You can find the things that you like and skip this. And that's kind of neat. You can curate a little bit for yourself. But there's also sort of, like when there's so much of it, it almost gets like, well, and you can go a little cross-eyed and then just not engage with any of it, So,
right. Well, and I think also we're hitting the great contraction now when it comes to streaming content.
Wait, what do you mean?
That too. Well, like the streamers are realizing that they can't just keep throwing money at productions.
Yeah, well, the Nancy Meyers thing, right? That was an interesting story.
Yeah, exactly, right. So she had a movie at Netflix, which I think it went into turnaround. I think it's been picked up somewhere else, or it will be.
Well, because yes, she wanted a budget of $150 million.
Yeah,
which is crazy,
insane,
crazy for a romantic comedy. And Netflix was like, no, 130. I mean, they were going to pay 130 million. And, she's like, no go. And so Warner Brothers just picked it up. But what's interesting about that is, Warner Brothers can wheel and deal a little differently than a streamer because, it's not limited to their quote unquote channel, right? I mean, they can get like back end deals. They can play it around the world on screens and license it to networks and do all sorts of things and cover a lot of those costs.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, I read a thing recently that said, one of the biggest growth areas in streaming right now is linear streaming channels with advertising. So in other words, it's like it's an ongoing stream. You jump in and it's an episode of whatever, and it's whenever you happen to jump in, that's where it is, and there's advertising. So I'm like, oh, so television.
Yeah. We're just living on a carousel, aren't we?
So I'm like, okay, so what was this entire journey we've been on? It's like we're like Charlton Heston at the end of Planet of the Apes,
I would love to see your kids be like, well, that's what's exciting about it, Like if you miss it, I don't know when I'm going to catch it again. It's like, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't understand, Dad.
This is what it's all about. Was this about the friends we made along the way? Is that what this journey was about?
What's funny? A feeling I had forgotten about that I saw in a meme was when a show was on TV and it was a commercial break, so you'd run to the bathroom, and then it would come back, and your friends or family would be like, "Hurry, it's back!" And you're like, "Ah!" And you're like, I was like, "Wow, I haven't experienced that in a really long time."
That's a different time.
Yeah, you can just pause it,
but it's totally because like. Not every, but many of these streaming services have like ad-supported linear streaming.
They're not there yet, but Netflix is going to do that, right? Or maybe they are there yet. I don't. I remember that. I feel like that's coming, which I was like, wow. But it won't have all their content available. I think like certain shows won't be. Yeah.
So, well, no, but you also have ad-supported on demand. So
sure.
Like Tubi and even Roku and stuff. Like you can watch every episode of, I don't know, Coach, and like,
right.
If you're in the mood for Coach, let's say that person exists who's just got a hankering for Craig T. Nelson's witticisms as he yells at Luther,
Van Dyke's son or whoever.
Yeah. Or his brother, I think it was.
Brother, yeah.
Dauber stepped in it again,
Patrick Starr. Dauber.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God. I was, what's funny? I was like, Bill Fagerbuck. Why? Like, I know he's Patrick Starr, but I'm like, why is he in the forefront of my thinking? Like, why am I thinking of him as a present day person? And then you're like, oh, duh.
Yeah. Amazing.
Well, good for him, because he's basically been playing Patrick since Coach went off the air.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is the Coach lasted 9 seasons, which I don't know what that says about viewing habits of the time, because I have yet to find anybody who watched Coach.
That is true, isn't it? I remember it. I think my mom might have watched it or something, but like it's not it does. Even like Home Improvement, I feel like it's not like those are on reruns and people are kind of watching them and talking about it or making memes about it. But we were all kind of there, you know, like we
lived it.
We lived it. But I don't remember that so much with Coach. Like I don't remember. Yeah.
And yet, do you remember a couple of years ago they were going to do a revival? Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah.
And I feel like even Craig T. Nelson was like, "Why?"
Right.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's on Roku, so if you're interested, you can check that out. You little leaguers, if you're if you're looking for that Coach, that ABC Tuesday night at 8 fix.
Right. You know, I wonder if it has. Just thinking about it now, Home Improvement had kids.
Sure.
Right. And so I do remember not being bored by, you know, Tim the Toolman Taylor and Al and all those sorts of things. But they did kind of like have kids my age on it at the same time. And Coach kind of was just a bunch of adults. I wonder if there's something to that where it just didn't connect with us.
Like, I'm not even saying it was a bad show. I'm sure, I'm sure it was totally fine. I mean, clearly it lasted for 9 seasons. Somebody watched it, but I've yet to meet that hypothetical person. And anyway, back to Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So this is my question. Yeah. This next thing that we're going to talk about, I wonder if it'll play for that audience the way Ninja Turtle stuff plays for you and I.
Yeah.
So let's play some of the audio from this.
Wait, should we say what it is?
Yeah, it is a Netflix original, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So they got the full title. What is it, like all for one? Once and always. That's what it's called.
Nice.
Let's play some of the audio from this. Now I want to talk about it.
After all these years, I found a new buddy.
Wait, a Repulsa?
No, it can't be.
It's time for revenge.
Okay, so I think when we look at Ninja Turtles, that's sort of like the demarcation point. Well, I'll say this about me. Maybe you can chime in. The demarcation point of like, that was my last like fandom as a kid.
Yes. That was, you know, I remember having a Ninja Turtles shirt. Mm-hmm. And then that was kind of it for that at that age. You know what I mean? Then I was kind of like wearing Bull shirts or, you know, like Cubs shirts or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was sort of like it was an important moment, a line.
You got rid of that. You switched to your Spuds McKenzie shirt, and co-ed naked.
Yeah. Big Johnson,
right? That's what came next, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but that was where you kind of aged into like junior high. Like, I don't talk about cartoons as much anymore. You know, this is new, Brian.
So Power Rangers started, I believe it was early 93.
Uh-huh.
So you were like about to turn 13, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm assuming you were like, well, that's not aimed at me.
Yes, that was my brother. He's 2 years younger than me, and he was kind of like, hey, this is kind of cool. And I remember it as my brother's thing.
See, that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that this is just my interest with this trailer, which is I'm Power Rangers adjacent. Like, it came right after me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we were definitely aware of it. And so you have this Netflix thing where they bring back, it looks like two of the OG Rangers actors.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, it was I'm actually no expert on this, but the Blue Ranger and the Black Ranger are the originals.
So it's Walter Jones as the Black Ranger,
mm-hmm.
and David Yost as the Blue Ranger.
Mm.
And the production value, by the way, looks like pretty much of a piece with that old show from 30 years ago.
Which I was kind of impressed by, if that makes any sense. I was like, oh, they sort of recaptured it. You know,
so that's what this is. I'm like, I want to hear from people listening to this show who are younger than us, who this is very much aimed at.
Actually, yeah, it's so funny because my opinion doesn't matter about this at all. Like, I can have observations, but I would excuse me, love to know someone who's passionate about it or was when they were younger. Yeah, how this played for them.
Right. See, like that's I want to hear that because I would imagine that it's really exciting to see these guys back as those characters, and I think it's some of the other. I think they acknowledge like how the original Yellow Ranger, she died, like that's because the actress died, and they've woven that into the show. And I'm like, again, if this was what I grew up with, I would imagine it's a pretty big deal. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's like the way Ninja Turtles connects with Power Rangers. I just felt like, oh, this is just a great conversation to have in conjunction,
Yeah, but it's pretty impressive that those two things, I mean, it wasn't like, when we were kids, they were having Howdy Doody reunions for our parents. You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty amazing that this stuff has hung in there like it has.
That's such a great point because the 90s are now it's like the 60s when we were kids. Mm-hmm. And so back then they had like, the return of the $6 Million Man or whatever. And people are like, ooh, but that wasn't really aimed at us. Mm-hmm.
So that noise is funny.
it was woo.
Oh, I thought that was your excited, like, hey, it's back. No, he's like, whoo.
Oh no, it's the excitement at the
right.
Lee Majors, by the way, who I just saw in I just watched Scrooged a couple days ago.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Did you really? Oh, that's funny.
And I had to explain to my kids who Lee Majors is, and they're like, okay, like that joke has no relevance to any aspect of their life.
I feel like I'm on the cusp of it. It's one of those things where I'm like, no, I get it, but I it's not actually tickling something for me.
Yeah. But that, so yeah, 30 years later to see the Power Rangers cast back again, this is just, I'm putting this out there for the people in the audience. I'm genuinely curious. Like, are you excited about this? And I'm not asking sarcastically. Maybe that sounded, I'm not like, are you excited about this?
No, I'm genuinely curious myself. Yeah. Like, I would love to know if they're excited to see the originals back. I'd be curious too if they think it looks like, does this look how you would want it to look? Like I said, I thought it was kind of impressive that they seemed to recapture the feel, at least how it felt to me when I would see it. So I'm curious if they feel
it has that general $8.37 budget feel.
Yeah, but I mean that's what it was, like
they really brought back the Angel Grove cafeteria or whatever.
Is that what it was? Angel Grove?
I think it's Angel Grove, right?
The canted angles, all the
and they got Rita Repulsa yelling.
Yeah,
come on, what else do you need? I've said before, man, that movie from a couple years ago was really good.
Yeah, super fun.
That was a good time. Let's take another short break and let's come back and we will talk about yet another franchise revival. And we are back. And hey, Brian, you know who else is back?
Who's that, Zachy?
Why, it's Zachary Levi as Shazam.
Shazam!
Yeah, the superhero Shazam.
Not the Gomer Pyle story. Shazam!
Which, based on the box office, that might have done better.
I was going to say, speaking of references that most people shouldn't know what I'm talking about.
That's a good point. Did you watch Gomer Pyle as a kid?
No, I remember it being on television, and I know it mostly through like our shows referencing it lovingly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pyle.
Pyle. Yeah, that's right.
So Shazam! Fury of the Gods has hit theaters a cool 4 years after the first film, which charmed critics and audiences. It did okay. It did it well enough to justify a sequel. The sequel itself has done not as well, Brian.
Yeah. That's I remember people were kind of surprised by the first one. Like, it's not like Captain America or Batman or whatever, but people were sort of like, oh, I am charmed by this. So, but I don't feel like there was much anticipation for this follow up, and yeah, I mean, box office wasn't super great. Critic stuff has been kind of midland, but the audience score I think has been sort of okay, right?
Yeah, it was like in the high B range, I think, right?
Mm.
Well, you know, this one, for me, I went again. I took my 9-year-old. He really liked Shazam, the first one.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, we'll definitely go. And his verdict at the end is that he liked it better than Black Adam.
Ah, well, he's in good company with me.
I liked it better than Black Adam also, but like I liked Black Adam less than him, and I liked Shazam probably Shazam 2 less than him.
Yeah, sure.
So I look at this film and I'm like, to me, honestly, it lost a lot of what made the first movie charming for me, which was the smallness of it. And I guess this is a similar critique to what I had with Ant-Man. The third one, right? Where the stuff I liked most was sort of a superhero story existing on the periphery, but it's about the characters. And I think what the first film had going for it very strongly was you had a lead actor in Asher Angel who plays Billy Batson,
mm-hmm.
who was very vulnerable and who had a compelling arc to go on.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really about the is he going to find his mom? Is he going to find a family? Like that was the interesting stuff.
100%. And that's, I remember really enjoying it. And for those very reasons. Yeah.
And so with the sequel, I mean, it's always the assignment with sequels is we got to go bigger. Mm-hmm. And a couple problems. I think number one, we spend far too little time with Billy Batson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And here's the problem. Asher Angel is playing like not just a younger version of Zachary Levi. He's playing a completely different character.
I was going to bring that up. Yes.
Like it's like these two did not talk because there's no attempt to to make us believe they're playing the same guy. It's like Levi acts younger than Asher Angel, who the character's turning 18 in the movie.
Yes. And Levi is sort of playing like a 12-year-old.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
Sorry. I kind of reached the end of my rope with Zachary Levi as this character about halfway through the movie. I was like, I'm actively annoyed by him.
You know what's funny? When I saw the trailers, I was kind of annoyed.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I don't know if I can watch this person like being so uppity, like, for 2 hours, but I didn't find him that bad in the movie. I guess I calibrated it or something, but there's a post or mid-credit sequence that he's in. And I was like, whoa, like he was
right.
Like he was dialed up even more in that one. I almost wondered if they shot that before they did the film. And then they were like, whoa, scale it back,
well, I think they shot it way after. And so he just like forgot what his gear was.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And so, keep going.
Well, I mean, again, like the stuff that appealed to me was Billy wondering if this family that he has formed an attachment to, if there will be a place for him after he's 18. Right. And so there's a runner about his adopted mom and how he calls her Rosa, but she wants him to call her mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way they tie a bow around that was a very, very poignant moment. I found it very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, God, give me more of this,
Mm-hmm.
So fundamentally there's a problem there. And then related to that, I think that you've got Shazam and then like 5 other Shazams.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just don't care about all those characters. I like Freddy.
Mm-hmm. He's fantastic.
I think Jack Dylan Grazer does a great job in this, and I think Adam Brody is good. Like they're playing the same gear. You see what I'm saying?
100%. And I might enjoy my time with them a little more, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. The other ones I didn't find myself caring about. Even Fall Girl, whatever her name is, as Which, by the way, did you hear that they're doing a sequel to Fall?
I did. I did.
Now we know it'll probably be like a different characters, but I'm like, no, I want the same character to somehow end up in the same. That's the sequel I want.
Yeah, which, by the way, I didn't make that connection. I didn't remember that was her with the film. It was when I was on IMDb, so I was like, oh wow, dang. But no, I agree. I think it should be like, just get this person in precarious situations over and over.
The same thing happened to the same person 2 years in a row.
Yes, that's 100%. Yes,
that's what I want.
Me too.
But so the other Shazam people I didn't particularly care about. And then here's my biggest problem. Okay, and this is partially not this movie's fault. It's partially producer Dwayne Johnson's fault. Because I'm like, the villains played by Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, I could not muster even a remote amount of interest in them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there is a Black Adam sized hole in this movie. Black Adam. I don't even mean necessarily played by Dwayne Johnson. I just mean Black Adam should be the villain in this movie.
Because that's this character's main antagonist.
That, and we get to pay off the idea that Billy feels unworthy about having these powers, right?
Sure.
So this sense of like, well, this is, the evil mirror version, and this is who you might be. And, it's a more compelling arc. But Dwayne Johnson, in his gusto to be like, no, the balance of power in the DC universe and yada, yada. So he gives Black Adam his own movie, which people don't turn up for. And then he removes Black Adam from a Shazam sequel, which also people don't show up for. So congratulations, Dwayne. You just killed 2 franchises.
Yeah, and didn't he reject having characters from his film show up in the post-credit sequence of this?
Yeah, so supposedly there was the Shazam would have been in a post-credit scene for Black Adam. I'm assuming what became Henry Cavill would have been Shazam, I think.
Right.
He nixed that. So then the alternative idea was the post-credit scene in this film with Steve Agee and Jennifer Holland. That would have been Justice Society characters.
Right.
Being like, hey, what's up?
Right.
And he was like, no, we can't do that either. And I'm like, God damn, Dwayne. Shit.
Well, I want to know what he thought was going to happen when Black Adam fought Superman. Because The Rock doesn't like to lose. Yeah,
you see, that's the thing. So I'm kind of like, like this whole thing, if I had more invested in it, I might be annoyed, but I'm sort of fascinated by how Dwayne Johnson got so far ahead of his own skis.
Yeah.
Like when you start out the shoot and you're like, we're going to reshape the balance of power, whatever the hell. Well, why are you setting that as the bar instead of, hey, let's see, like, this guy's pretty interesting. Let's see, like, why not introduce him as an antagonist?
Right.
And then leverage that into that's what you did with Hobbs in the Fast and Furious movies.
Right. Well, I mean, by the way, I'm not in Black Adam's corner in any way, shape, or form, but I can sort of understand why The Rock didn't want to have his adversary be this like 39-year-old man who's like, for sure, dude, you know what I mean? But that's what it is. And so then it's like unfortunate that he had to like, ruin all this for everybody.
It really local man ruins everything.
Yes.
There's a picture of Dwayne Johnson dressed as Black Adam. So
on the back of a donkey holding a flag, crashing into a wedding cake. Yeah, but with a stoic look on his face and a cocked eyebrow.
Naturally.
Yeah.
And the thing with Dwayne Johnson, look, I've enjoyed plenty of his films. I think he's like a can of Pringles. You know what you're getting. You open that can, you know what you get. It says sour cream and onion. You're gonna put it in your mouth. It's gonna be that. You don't open it and be like, why isn't there a Philly cheesesteak in here? So I can applaud him for having built a consistent brand. I just think in this instance, it sort of baffles me because this is a thumbs down for me on Shazam Fury.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's.
Wait, but you gave Black Adam a thumbs up, right?
Black Adam is a qualified thumbs up.
Okay,
but I like it less knowing how it affected Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense. So I think what I said at the time of Black Adam was I liked all the other stuff except Black Adam in it.
Yeah.
Like I loved the Justice Society. Like that was interesting to me.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I think to me, when I compare this to the first film, I'm just like, I just didn't feel any of it. Like the most interesting stuff, there wasn't enough of it. Like I liked Jaimin Hunsu. I liked his interaction with Jack Dylan Grazer. I liked kind of what they did with Jaimin at the very, very end. But like Shazam is not interesting, it's Zachary Levi. He just annoyed me, and he didn't annoy me in the first one, maybe because he was in it less.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But that's me. You haven't talked about it at all.
Yeah, I had heard all these things. The trailer was doing nothing for me. I actually didn't really even want to go see this. I not like out of disgust, but I mean, I just didn't care. Like if I never saw this, I would be fine. And then I saw it for the show and was like, oh, that was fine. Like, I was like, yeah, that's fine. I didn't, and I don't think anything you're saying, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I think it's interesting because I thought of like mediocre superhero movies I've seen lately, like Morbius,
which opened better than Shazam: Fury of the Gods, by the way.
Yeah, and it's funny because I don't hate Morbius. I my feeling on that one was I just don't care, and I don't know why. Like it was there was some of it I thought was pretty competent, but I just didn't care, and it sort of made me turn on the movie. And then Black Adam, which I just felt like was just kind of a nothing burger vanity project for Dwayne Johnson, and hurt every aspect of that movie. Like just its narrative, I just did not care. I felt nothing for that movie. I don't even remember who the villains are. Maybe it's him. I don't remember. Like I just I don't remember who he's up against. And so I think,
and to that point, right? Like with Black Adam, whatever resonance I got out of that movie was based on what I took in with me,
which is so understandable.
Yeah. So specifically the JSA stuff, it hit me right in the exact right place,
Yeah. But I wrote down, I think it's this Shazam 2 is a perfectly sweet first quarter 2023 superhero film. And honestly,
that's the curve.
That's what it is. I mean, like there are so many of these things.
Yeah.
I think it is completely warranted to feel exhausted by this film and feel like, or like, how does this stand next to, whatever, like Captain Marvel, Ant-Man, even though I didn't feel much for that movie. Like, but we have a lot of, we're endeared to Ant-Man already. So we're at least bringing that into the movie. Yeah. But at the same time, I sort of appreciated that this movie, I'm gonna say the thing that I wish was different in a second, but like I kind of appreciated like just how kind of simple and understandable it was. It was like, all right, Helen Mirren, these three sisters, and they're the villains. Like they want the thing, okay, and I think Rachel Zegler is like the sort of one sympathetic villain sister. I kind of thought she was cute, and I liked her connection with the Freddy character. And whenever they were together, I literally turned to Federica, I think twice, and went, "Aw," like that kind of like the human part of that sort of worked for me. Even though I think you also have to sort of watch it like a 13-year-old or a 12-year-old, because I mean, as a grown man, I mean, yeah, I got a million thoughts about this movie, but I was like, okay, like she connects with this person, and so it's made her feel this way about humanity. Cute. So yeah, like I think whenever the Anthea character and Freddy were together was kind of cute, which I guess that is sort of indicative of how I feel about this film. Let's say like the movies superhero films that I personally have not found great, like Morbius or Black Adam or whatever, they were at least competent.
Sure.
I can say they're competent, but to me, they were not enjoyable. I think this one I viewed as competent with enough enjoyable elements for me to not walk out upset. And I think like I enjoyed, the Rachel Zegler, Jack Dylan Grazer, Freddy character. I enjoyed them. I thought they were cute. I mean, is it ridiculous? Absolutely. She's like 9,000 years old and he's like 17 and she's like, I've never met a man like you. It's crazy. But I loved Freddy and the Wizard. I thought that was super fun.
That was fun. Where he kept calling it by a wrong name, and he was doing it on purpose.
Yeah. You know, that kid is just like so delightful. He's
very charming. Yeah.
I enjoyed the parents aspect of it, like sort of the family aspect, you know, all the family stuff. I think those things were enough to elevate this, to make me smile enough to go, well, that wasn't a bad time for me. But I'm going to agree with you that I do wish it was more focused on the family. Like, I wish that, like, this whole villain story thing, I almost wish that was more of a backdrop to test them. It was about them being tested as like, well, this girl's getting older and she wants to go to college. Like, you know, this kid's feeling like he wants to go off on his own and kind of do this thing. And the little one's still really little and she saves kittens before she saves humans. You know, like, yeah, I would have liked this to have been a family adventure that happens to be in the superhero genre. And I think that would have been really interesting because we don't see any of the college girl like seeing other people her age and wanting to relate to them or hang out with them, but she's got to go hang out with her younger kids or save the world. You know, like, I think if we had spent like a scene with each of these kids, you know, like there's one kid that gets such short shrift that I think literally his only lines are, I like baseball, I'm gay.
And I'm gay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like that's literally all that character gets. And that could have been interesting where it's like, yeah, I have this thing that's like kind of my thing that I'm thinking about, and I don't know how to tell this to my family or so. You know what I mean? Like,
well, this is my problem, right? Is you have this really ill-defined team where everyone has the same powers.
Yeah.
And again, it seems to me like everyone else gets a little more mature and the main guy, the leader, gets less mature.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I think I'm willing to sort of like just go with it because that's the thing. He chews bubblegum on the movie poster. Like, but I have my million notes. Like, I do wish that was calibrated better. I wish it was more about these kids, this siblingship, and being superheroes and what that's about when the world or your town, or at least Philadelphia, is at stake. That's what I wish this more was. But also, I don't know what it is. I don't know if anyone wants to take any risks, but the superhero films feel like they all have to have the same sort of scope and busyness to them, and visual effects and dragons and blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, like, I actually kind of laughed because I remember like 10 years ago, there was that effect where everything turned into like basically nanobites. You know, if someone were to die in a fantasy film, they would turn into these millions of little nanobites. And I remember thinking like, oh, that's a new software someone invented and we're going to see that for the next 10 years. Likewise, in this film, the Zegler character basically has the Doctor Strange special effects software. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, I was like, oh, so we're going to watch that for like the next 5 years. You know, like, so, I mean, these all do sort of have like similar bases. So it's like, what are you going to do with them to build on top of them to make me give a crap and think it's special and want to watch it again? Right. And I think some do better than others. Obviously, Marvel, I feel like, is the leader of the pack, even though lately some of their stuff's, you know, hasn't risen as much as great heights. So I feel like this had enough to make me feel like, well, I didn't have a bad time. It's cute, whatever. I actually wouldn't tell people to like go see it, if I'm being honest. Like, if they're looking for a superhero movie down the line to stream, well, here you go. Like, this, you could do worse. You know what I mean? But like, I realize I would sound so confusing, but like, yeah, it's just competent plus. There we go. Competent plus.
There's a ringing endorsement.
I was charmed enough by enough things in this to go, oh, well, I was walking into this thinking I was going to be in another Morbius sort of Black Adam situation, but I was charmed.
It's better than Morbius for sure.
Yeah.
And I do think overall it's probably better made than Black Adam,
or structurally,
yeah, but it made less of a mark on me.
Yeah.
And I lay a lot of the blame on just the Levi portrayal of the character. I found him really off-putting. I'm like, how, again, we're seeing them all in their little Shazam cave, and I'm like, why is he the leader of the group?
Right.
Brian, was he transformed from the norm by the nuclear goop? I beg to differ.
Right. Right.
Because I'm like the Eugene, he's clearly smarter. Mary clearly, like, everyone else has a better sense of what's going on than this guy, And then the other thing, adjacent to this, the cameo at the end, which I'm not even going to lampshade as a spoiler because Warner Brothers does not consider it a spoiler.
Yeah, let's just go. Let's just do this. Like, if you made it this far, let's go. Yeah.
So you have Gal Gadot showing up, and it's kind of funny because earlier in the movie they did the thing where we don't see her face, which is like, haha, if you watch the first movie, because Superman, you didn't see his face. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't mind her in being in this movie. I was kind of sad. I was like, what if this is like the last time she plays the role?
It's possible. Yeah.
Right. But the other thing is, okay, so we think Billy's dead. Now that was actually really well done when we think Billy is dead.
Yes.
And Freddie gets really emotional. Very well done, right?
But yes.
She brings Billy back to life. Gal Gadot does. Wonder Woman, I should say.
Yeah.
And my thought
Gal
was,
Gadot, actually, by singing Imagine.
He's like, stop.
That's the reason. She's like, well.
Now he comes out of the grave as Shazam and he starts like macking on her. And I was like, why not have him be Billy in this scene?
It would be a lot cuter.
It would be cuter. And don't have him be like a creepy predator.
Yeah.
Have him be like a cute kid who's like overwhelmed because this is the woman he has a crush on.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I so many thoughts. We were talking on the drive home last night. It is weird that Billy, I mean, Asher Angel, right? Is his name? Yeah. He does fine, but like, he's like, he could be like 20 or something. You know what I mean? It's we need like a younger discrepancy, because then it's like, well, why is he turning into this guy who's just kind of older than him? They feel like, that's right. And then and he's acting really weird. He's acting like a 12-year-old. It's like,
so Asher Angel is 20, in fact.
There you go. See, it's my game. It's what I like to try to do. Right. But all of the above. I'm just gonna say all of the above. I think Zachary needs to scale it back and actually act like the other kid. I think the kid should have been younger. And I also agree with you that yes, it would have been cuter to see then the kid. Like if you're like some kid and you're meeting, some.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, Gal Gadot. I was trying to think of like when I was a kid, like, I don't know, Cindy Crawford or something. You know what I mean? Like, like as a 12-year-old, like you'd be like, go. But it's like when you're watching someone who's like her age, exactly. Stammering and being like, gee whiz, miss,
hey, we should like hook up,
But
Chuck.
Chuck.
That's what I said.
I would say what distracted me more about that was that she clearly was not. They were not there together.
Oh, right. Yeah. It was Anthony Mackie in Ant-Man syndrome.
Yeah. And I mean, in some ways it's kind of unfair to, who knows why they couldn't make it work. But like, it felt distracting enough to me where her just sort of like, oh, you. And then just like cutting that into the film with, Zachary Levi going like, it just felt, you know what I mean? It felt incongruous, all of it. But I don't know. I don't know.
There's our review.
Yeah. I mean, I have to be honest and just say that, when we left last night, we were like, oh, well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And we smiled. We smiled a lot. I got to give it the movie that. Like, it made us smile. Like, the kids made us smile. The Freddy character especially. But I don't think anything you're saying isn't true. Like, I agree with you. And that's why I don't think that I would probably ever watch it again. And if someone was saying, should I go see this or should I go see, I don't even know what else is out right now. It wouldn't be at the top of my recommendations either. So yeah, capable plus.
My favorite moment in the movie is when Billy calls Rosa mom and he's crying.
Yes.
I wish the rest of the movie gave me stuff like that.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's starting to fade from my memory, but there are a couple other tears shed during the movie. Not me, but like characters. And I was like, oh, like I was like, I'm with it.
Well, I think when Freddy thinks Billy's dead, I think that's very
yes. Too. Yes. And I don't know. He's that kid, man. That kid should be leading a movie.
Yeah. A couple things I wanted to bring up real quick. There's a scene where Shazam gets like tossed around or whatever, and you have all the people on the street who are like, hey, it's Captain Everypowers or whatever. And you have one person in a red shirt with a yellow collar who says, "You're the best, Captain Marvel."
I noticed that.
Yeah, so that actor is Michael Gray, who played Billy Batson in the 1970s Shazam series, in which Shazam is not Shazam, he is Captain Marvel. So that's right.
Yeah.
And then there's another moment where the family is in the van and they pull up and they see everything going on, and the dad, the foster father, he says, "Holy moly!" Which is, of course, that's Captain Marvel, Shazam / Captain Marvel. So they have him say that instead of Shazam.
Now, there were a couple other characters like that they focused on. They lingered a little bit, and I was wondering who those people were. Actually, that reminds me. There's a woman they kind of focused on. It reminded me of that character in Captain America or whatever it is. That waitress where they focus on her for a while and you think she's going to be a bigger character. There was like a woman who's noticing, all the vines that are growing in Shazam and these pods, right? And they burst open and these creatures come out. And I was like, hey, I got to give credit where credit's due. Those pods I think they built those. Like those looked practical and goopy and real. And I was like, oh, that's kudos. I know sometimes we pick on some special effects and visual effects a little bit. But I was like, no, that was pretty good.
Well, there we go. There's our discussion for Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I think we covered a lot of ground. What do you think?
Yeah, I C plus for me.
C plus. Maybe it's just a solid C for me, but it dips over into a downturned thumb.
Yeah, there you go. I hope I expressed that well enough, but yeah, there you go.
I'm very curious. I mean, let us know your thoughts, everybody. Those of you listening, this has been a polarizing movie, so I suspect that there will be some polarizing reactions.
Yeah. Oh, and Helen Mirren, by the way, I was like, how funny that she's, in this crazy supervillain suit, and then she's also in the Fast and Furious movies. I mean, like, did she see that ahead? And when she was in the Cook, the Thief, the wife, the lover, whatever, back in the day, like, oh, I'm not going to retire. Like, I'm actually going to be in these huge, the biggest movies that are being made. But
I'm going to be in Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Yeah.
Like, what now?
Oh, by the way, her reading that letter that the pen wrote was hilarious.
That was funny. Yeah.
Yeah. When basically it was dictated by Shazam, but he kept saying his thoughts out loud and the pen wrote everything. That was funny. And
again, undercut by Billy getting several degrees of magnitude dumber when he becomes Shazam.
Oh wait, what'd you think of the Skittles thing at the end, by the way?
Dude, I was literally, so I was noting the Skittles mentions throughout.
Setups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Setup. So as soon as they're like, oh, ambrosia, blah, blah, I was like, oh God, I know where this is going. And then, right. And then she throws those hell unicorns, and I was like, literally, I'm like, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Taste the rainbow. I'm like, God damn it.
Actually, it's funny. It made me chuckle the first time. And then the second time I was like, you just did that 30 seconds ago.
I'm like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. This is probably the last Shazam movie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lose much sleep over that. And I actually do wonder. I'm like needlessly mean. I don't mean to be, but
That's so funny.
I do wonder about the fact that James Gunn announced that he is directing. It is now official. We talked about the conjecture last time. It's now official. He is directing Superman. He did that like 2 days before this movie came out, and I wonder if that just reinforced people's sort of like, well, I don't need to give a crap about this one. You know, I wonder if that played a role.
Right. Like whatever, I don't need to keep up with what is going on in DC because it's all going to change.
That's right.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, the two credit sequences, we had the middle credits and the post credit. The first one felt very obviously like we couldn't get anyone else.
Yes. Right.
So here's that guy and hey, it's her, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And they were game. I really like Steve Agee on Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad. He's a fun character, but it definitely felt like we did not need this scene at all.
No.
Had no bearing on anything. And then the thing at the very, very end with Mark Strong and the Worm, I'm like, well, this is just like adding insult to injury at this point.
It kind of annoyed me that I stuck around for it. Yeah.
Right? I'm like, well, we're definitely not getting this. So all you've taken from me is time.
Right.
You know, this movie should have had either Black Adam or Mr. Mind. So
I'm not familiar with their villains. This is all made up, right? Like all these characters.
The little worm guy is Mr. Mind, and I'm like, well, you already set him up in the back of the first one. So
yeah. No, I just mean these sister characters. Like this was made up for the film.
I think so. Yeah. There's probably some version of them in the comics. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there we go. That's Shazam! Fury of the Gods. We'll be back next time, though. We'll be talking about a couple things. We got Air coming out.
Dude, it just debuted on Rotten Tomatoes with 100%.
Look at that.
Just saw that.
Looking forward to that. And also Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, which is getting also rave reviews.
Yeah. I haven't seen the reviews for that, but I'm curious.
That's what I'm not a Dungeons & Dragons aficionado.
Same.
But I'm a Chris Pine aficionado, Brian.
Yeah.
Gosh, he's just so charming. He has a twinkle, I tell you. But I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm looking forward to discussing both. But as always, if you all have thoughts on what we had to say or vehement disagreements, whatever, we want to hear it all, you can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. As always, please go to Apple Music and leave a podcast review because that stuff matters. It matters, folks.
It does.
You may not think it does, but it does. And if you like what we're doing, please leave a star rating or anything else like that. If you're looking for me online, you can find me on Twitter at Zacky's Corner. That's ZAKIS Corner. And you can also see my writing at San Francisco Chronicle and The Wrap, and also at IGN. What about you, Brian? What do you got going on?
Working on things that are coming up in the future. Young Jedi Adventures coming soon, May the 4th. But for now, just working on that stuff.
Well, there we go. With that, that brings the curtain down on Movie Film 266. We'll be back soon. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Welcome, friends.